about the bravery of the audience to participate today during the pandemic. We all are not maintaining social distance. There's a rise in cases as well. So I think you all are very brave that to show the solidarity and support for human rights in general and the report in particular. And then it's not a coincidence that when I saw Tibet as the country or the nation listed first, perhaps because Tibet is connected to some of the countries, of course, India in particular, but also more precisely because Tibet is under the occupation of China, People's Republic of China, and China's presence among most of the countries listed here and throughout Asia is well known. Now, what the Chinese government is doing as far as human rights is concerned, President Xi Jinping has declared socialism with Chinese characteristic as his vision for China and for the whole world. And then China's dream is another of his vision, based on which they want to ideologically dominate the world. Specifically of human rights, what are they doing? Now, if you want to raise the issue of human rights, you have to approach the United Nations. But if you look at the 15 UN agencies, 5 are headed by Chinese officials. Head of the 5 UN agencies are headed by Chinese officials. Because China happens to be the second largest donor to the United Nations after America, by which they can appoint their personnel. Now, China also happens to be, at least 2 years ago, the largest borrower from the World Bank. So they get a loan of low interest rate from the World Bank, more than $1 billion, sometimes below the 2, and they donate $100+ million to United Nations, and then they can appoint their personnel. Specifically, at the Human Rights Council, Chinese officials are present. Now, with their personnel, they can maneuver the agenda. At the Human Rights Council, they have passed 2 resolutions. The definition of human rights is being redefined. So they have passed 2 resolutions, and then if you go by that definition, what they're saying is the political rights, freedom of speech, democracy are secondary to food and security of human beings. Now, if that definition prevails, then they want to rule out or deny permits to report here and to other political related rights. For example, the Tibetan goes to the Human Rights Council and says, these are the human rights violated. For example, Freedom House comes up with Freedom Index every year. They measure freedom. For 6 years in a row, they have listed Tibet as the least free region in the whole world. Similar